Thank you.
Let's hear it again for this great panel. Let's just, and for the staff here at WLS. Now we're ready. Questions and answers. And Dick, is there a microphone or?
Tarch has it. Tarch.
Raise your hand if you've got a question, and I'll give you a mic.
Let's use one. Okay.
Question.
In the back.
This is I didn't expect Angela Ingram to be here. Angela is communications, VP Communications for iHeartMedia in Chicago land. And God bless her. When we decided to come to Chicago, iHeart, as you can see, is very important to us, and we love them. And we have tried to make a contact in the market. And Jessica King, who's VP for the whole company, said, Chicago is all you need is fabulous, Angela Ingram. And those were part of the truest words I've ever heard. And I just, on the part of iHeart, if you can just say hello, then we'll go to our questions.
Thank you.
And in that money, that wonderful $1,500, iHeartMedia. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here today. iHeart is thrilled to be a part of this Career Day, Job Fair Day. We really believe that you are the future of our company. Unfortunately, we won't be around all the time. So we are really committed to breeding the next stock, I guess I should say, of radio and television professionals. Special thanks. I mean, we have some real pros from UB to Consuela to Eric Z to Rufio and just our whole lineup at the stations. But iHeartMedia in Chicago and across the country is certainly committed to these type of events and to the growth of your future. I will tell you that internships do work. I started at iHeartMedia, formerly Clear Channel, 33 years ago, and I am still there. So that is a blessing through various acquisitions, various company name changes, but I worked my way up from an intern to vice president of communications for our stations here in Chicago, and I pour in a lot of corporate projects as well. So when you look at an internship, they do work, and you do have staying power if you do what you need to do every day and really are committed to the work that you do. I will be at the job fair from noon to 1. I have information on our internship programs, and we are revising our internship program in Chicago. It is now a paid internship along with class credits. So please stop by the table and make sure that you pick up some information and apply. Can't guarantee, but you can certainly apply. Thank you so much again for being here today. Dick, you've been absolutely fabulous, and your entire team. And so as iHeartMedia, we are proud to be a part of this event. And ABC7, you're a true partner of ours. Thank you so much, John. We enjoy working with you as well. Thank you.
Thank you. First question.
Hi, I'm Eric from the College of Lake County. It's a real privilege to be able to hear the testimony from you guys. I'm definitely learning a lot, and I'm sure the rest of us in the audience are too. The biggest question I have would be, why are there so many changes, both on TV and on air, on the radio, especially with radio DJs or anchors? Why is there always so much change? It seems like one day we have one anchor on TV, the following day it's someone else.
You want to start?
Oh, yeah. Well, as you heard, I got fired a couple times. So that's one. Or maybe it doesn't work out. Or maybe it doesn't work out for you. Because I've left stations, too, where I'm like, okay, I think I've done everything, I wanted to do here. let's move on. And I will say that every move I made, except for one, it's probably been for the better. But even while I downgraded a bit, I went home and I did part-time work there until I finally got back here. And even when I got back to Chicago, I was still part-time until I got the afternoon gig here. So could be a little bit of both. I don't know. It's very strange. It's also because of how media is now, I believe. I can't answer for TV, but in radio, things are just changing with social media and everything. I was watching a show the other day where something happened on TV with a news reporter, Being Mary Jane. And did you all notice on that show, she did something on TV that it was an interview that turned out to be like, very controversial, made it to CNN. And, that became big, but then it became even more like just crazy when somebody made a remix of it and put it on YouTube. And then now it went all over. And then now, you may have, she may have been popular with like the certain demographic, but now she's got everybody knowing who she is because of what she did. So social media may have changed that. And maybe a station may say, hey, we want her. Look what she did. This person is not really producing like, these numbers. So it could be a little bit of everything. I don't know if anybody else wants to weigh in on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll jump in. I think in Chicago, Chicago is one of those markets, a destination market for talent. And I don't think you do see a lot of change in Chicago. And maybe, somebody specifically, we want to talk about or find out about, that's fine. But when I was in Raleigh, for example, which was the 24th largest market, we had changes because people were moving onward and upward. And those talent that would come through to a Raleigh station maybe had, top 10 potential, so they might stay for a contract cycle, which is generally 2 to 3 years, and move on from there. Or Wilmington, or I think we had Sioux Falls here, and that's, you see a lot of change on those kind of mid-major markets, and those smaller markets, you do see a lot of, talent rotating through because they're going somewhere. They're going to a destination market. Generally before Chicago, I mean, Roz is very unique, to start here and, what'd she say, 27? It's over 25. 27 years, Roz? 26. To start here and kind of stay with one station for that long and start in Chicago and land in Chicago. Typically, I saw Stacy Baca earlier today. She was, I can't see her right now, but Stacy was, where was Stacy? Was she in Omaha, I think? It doesn't matter. But anyway, typically when people come to this television station, they've usually been 2, maybe 3 places before they get here. And all that represents change. We are in a position now where we are a legacy station. I think you mentioned the legacy station in Madison, which, so we have some people that are retiring, and that's another thing. And they're great folks. They're just, retiring and moving on, so we're replacing and constantly keeping that funnel. So you get to know that person before, they have that big job. So, but change is a constant in this business. I think it's just going to accelerate. There's Stacy. Stacy, where were you before Chicago?
San Diego.
San Diego. And before that?
Norfolk, Virginia.
Okay. Anything before that?
Denver, Colorado.
Oh my God.
How about before that?
No.
No? Okay. No. No. But that's generally the way it works.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Jatika Expose. I'm a graduate student at Loyola University. I don't live in Chicago. I'm from Indiana, and I will be graduating on May 7th.
Congratulations.
Plug, by the way. I have a question. There are a lot of other graduate students here, and I originally got my undergrad in journalism, broadcast journalism, and I'm in grad school now to learn how to do all the cool things behind the scenes. So as a person who's trying to be versatile and have all of these skills, what advice for the producers and the, those of you who are just in the industry, what advice would you give those of us who are content producers and want to do a variety of things, both in front of the camera and behind the camera?
I was gonna say, volunteer. Make yourself available to do those things. I remember when I was at Mizzou and we had to work first just desk shifts where we were signing out the gear to the reporters. Sometimes there was a really easy VOSOT to be done. And I said, I'll do it. Like, if you make yourself available above and beyond, people are happy to utilize you in those ways. So I would say sign up for opportunities that lie outside of your comfort zone. Ask, like, hey, I'm doing this, but I see you're doing this. Can I just spend the day with you? So I think it's kind of like, how much do you want it? Can you create those opportunities for yourself? That's worked for me.
Also coming out, I mean, because when I was in college, I initially wanted to be a reporter and then eventually decided, okay, I'm going to go the producer track. But really, once I graduated, I made a producing tape and I made a reporting tape, you know, and I just kind of, like everyone's been saying, kept my options open. And when I was at NTTV doing all of my work, like I said, I worked from audio to reporting to eventually being the news director of our college station. So, like she said, just, you know, dabble in everything. These days, you can't just be a producer. You know, you have to kind of know how to edit, know everything. And that makes you, regardless if you become a producer or reporter, that's going to make you better at your job. So just, yeah, dabble in everything. Do whatever you can. Yeah, eventually it'll work out for you. When I was in Sioux Falls, I came on as a producer. After 3 months, they asked me to do some on-air teases on their 10 o'clock. I was like, yeah, I'll come in earlier, I'll do them, I'll write them, I'll get on there. And, you know, I did that. And eventually I was still producing, and they had asked me to do a couple stories. And I was like, yeah, I'll work over and do a couple stories for you. And so you just kind of have to be willing and be open and let people know your desires. Sometimes, you know, you never know what's open or what, you know, your news director is looking for or your GM, because if you don't, you know, if you don't express what you want, when something becomes open, you can't, you know, they may not look to you for that. So just always be open, always be willing to do different things, and let people know, like, you know, you're looking for a job, or you're open, you know, you want to produce, you're also interested in dabbling in reporting. Let them know what you want. So, and be open to doing that. So.
I'd just like to add one thing. Even though the platforms change, there are a lot of things that are still core. Writing is essential. So you need to be a good writer, and you need to have passion. So really focus on writing, because there's a different style for everything that you're writing on.
Hello, my name is Lauren Smith. I am a senior at Loyola University Chicago, also graduating May 7th with undergrad, but you know, it's still that day. Okay, so I am a born and bred Chicagoan, you know, fell in love with journalism in Chicago. And because I want to go into this business, I'm, you know, ready to get out there and move and do whatever I need to do. But as a person who has always been here, I kind of want to ask, what type of advice can you give someone who has to move and doesn't get easier as you keep on going, as you go to a new city? You know, what's kind of like, you know, some of the things that you have to do as soon as you get to the city?
That's a good question.
You
want to?
Okay. So I have been here a long time, but I interned in Sydney, Australia, and they gave us a bus or a transportation pass and said, "Good luck." And that is a ferry, a bus, and like I would take a bus and a ferry to get to work. It was kind of crazy. So I think that was important. Learn the transportation system. And sometimes you get lost, and then you discover a cool cafe or something, a museum. And I've done that so many times. Like I took it the wrong way, and then I discovered something cool. And then the friends I met there, I'm like, oh, did you hear about this place? So I guess kind of get lost in the city a little bit, and it's okay.
Sounds fun. Thank you.
I've got one over here.
Hi, thank you. My name is Jose Gonzalez. I'm from Western Illinois University. First, I'd like to thank everyone who coordinated this event and everyone who woke up early so they could attend here. I was just producing my university's newscast, and I was given, I was assigned to create my first package. So I filmed, got sound bites, but the finished work did not turn out the way I wanted it to be. To the panelists who experienced a similar roadblock, how did you manage to resolve that issue?
Well, I write packages quite a bit, and they never turn out the way I want them to. So I think you're always rooted in journalism and storytelling, and sometimes you go out with an idea, and it doesn't happen the way that you think it's, going to happen. So you just do the best you can. I don't think that anyone is ever walks away from a story and says that I nailed it. Yeah, I mean, if you do, that's great. But I think that those happen maybe, once every 2 years or something where you're just like, that was perfect. I couldn't have done that any better. I couldn't have voiced it better. I couldn't have had a better interview. So I think, you can't be too hard on yourself when it comes to that.
I also think that there's no substitute for experience. It's time with the tools in your hands. So do it again, and then do it again and again and again and again and again as many times as you possibly can.
And I'm going to chime in from a production standpoint, because when these people go out and shoot and think they know what they're doing, sometimes they don't. And we have to get it and make it better in the edit. We always call it fix it in the mix, well, fix it in the mix, yeah. We got to fix it. I would always shoot a tight shot and a wide shot. I mean, those are basic things. White balance your camera. I mean, there's certain little things that, like, it's 101. Make sure your picture, you're in focus. I mean, I'm in the third market, and I will say that I still get stuff that's out of focus, not white balanced, and, and you're like, wow, who shot this, Well, they were having a bad date today, But it's still.
Torch, are we good? We're good?
He knows, right? Well, fix it in the mix, So then you get in the editing, and you're like turning, because it's so badly white balanced. Oh, well, black and white looks good for this promo. You know what I mean? I mean, those are the things. So, those are basic, simple production tools, but tight and wide always. I mean, get cutaways. I mean, when I first started at this station, I won't, whatever. Sometimes the photographers would go out, and I used to die because they just give you a locator shot. I have to cut a promo with a locator shot. I mean, talk about being tough. That's all they shot. I got B-roll. It's one street sign. That's my B-roll. So always shoot more than you can possibly have, because then you have choices. It's always fun when you have no choices, because then you have to go a certain route. You zoom in on that straight shot, We all know those little tricks. So those are the things. I mean, if you want to make your packages better, and you guys are all want to be in front of the camera. And really, nowadays, I mean, I feel for you. You're going to have to shoot, write, edit, and be your own talent. They have that weird wiggy thing, The camera this camera, I was watching it, like you could shoot yourself while you're doing a stand-up. It's like crazy, I'm like, oh my God, you poor things, There's not even going to be anybody to bounce any ideas off of, You're going to be out in the field, ooh, maybe I look like this. It's all going to be crazy. And, YouTube, I say, killed our craft. It's partly your, fault, because YouTube killed our craft. There's no lighting, people flip this on and 1 million hits, and that's it, There's no craft in it anymore. There used to be a craft, so, and this can get 1 million hits, and that's where you guys are lucky, because you know what? You got the internet. You can start your own channel. Nobody's thinking that. You're all thinking, I got to get a traditional broadcast media job. No, you don't. You can go on and create your own little show and put it on the web, and if you start getting hits and hits and hits and it goes viral, it's a whole new ball game right now. And you're coming into it at the beginning, versus us, that have been in the traditional world. But the whole world's changing. We're at a tipping point in this whole world in a lot of industries and businesses. And you guys are nice because, you're great. You're young and you can take those risks, and those opportunities are all there for you. So I would think at it. I would go at it from a different standpoint than thinking that you have to seek this traditional broadcast media. I just would if I had to do it all over again in this current environment.
I really quickly wanted to share one of the best pieces of advice I ever got. I often would shoot myself in the foot on a story, being really wed to a certain idea I got when I was out in the field. A mentor of mine called it killing your babies, which sounds graphic, but there are certain sound bites or shots sometimes you get dead set on. Like one time I did this story about a brain surgeon, and he was doing surgery on this guy who was a drummer, and I was like very set on this idea of like hands of a surgeon, and I was like trying so hard to make it work, like the story wasn't as good as it could be. So like if there's a sound bite or a concept or a shot you are like very set on, take a look at the story again and be willing to let go of how you initially saw the story. That is something that has always helped me. When I feel like a story isn't coming together the way I want it to, it's usually because I tried to make something work that just wasn't meant to work. So be willing to change, to take criticism. Gosh, use your peers, because sometimes they'll tell you, like, what you're trying to make work, it's not working. So that has hugely helped me in those circumstances.
Good afternoon. I want to say it's a pleasure to be here today. I've learned a lot. My name is Nuri Mohammed. I'll be graduating from Kennedy King College on May 2nd. My question is in regards to lead block stories. Is there such thing as getting those stories first? And if so, how do you go about jockeying for those or not stepping on your colleagues' toes?
Good question.
Yeah. Reporter, news director, GM.
Everyone, it's all man for themselves. Yeah. No, you know, a lot of times there are beats, so that kind of depends on the structure of your newsroom. If you know someone who's working on something, I always just say, hey, are you working on this? Because I have this angle that I'd really like to take. What do you think? Sometimes I just work with the people within the newsroom to make sure that I'm not stepping on their toes, because there are certainly times when you're going to kind of cross, because if you're following a big story and you're all trying to do breakouts, you know, it's not like your idea might be super original, you know, if you're doing a breakout. But also, you know, you're always trying to get the exclusive. You're always trying to get the thing that's going to lead the newscast. I mean, that is what I was trying to do and am trying to do. So you just have to be courteous with your peers, but at the same time, you're there to do a service for your community. So you got to hustle, you know. And sometimes people do get their feelings hurt in a newsroom, and you just kind of have to be delicate on that. Did that answer your question? Was that? Okay.
All right, I have a question on this side. Hang on. I digress. Here we go.
Thank you very much. My name's Carolina Cruz. I graduated from Columbia College back in 2012, but I really did not want to miss this opportunity to be able to hear from you guys. I'm already a reporter in a smaller market, but I wanted to know, especially for those who are MMJ or have experience as an MMJ, a multimedia journalist, for a lot of us who are still either learning the ropes or already there but trying to get better, how do you juggle being creative while you are your own camera guy, your own videographer, and be able to create a good package where you can add a lot of nat sounds and a very compelling story that you want to make sure is going to help you improve your craft and at the same time move you to the next level?
Okay. As an MMJ, I think, you know, keep it simple. You know, I think that you've heard like KISS, keep it simple, stupid. I think that always helps. You know, sometimes you only need 2 sources for a story, and at the end of the day, if you are humanizing one person, you start from that person's issue. So that helps. You know, as we were saying, as I think Vicki was saying earlier, you know, get a tight shot, get wide shots. I would say get a super tight and a super wide. Follow the person. Sometimes I think tripod shots are great, but if you're in a story where there's a lot of action, get off the tripod. Get the close-ups of the feet, the hands, the movement. If you want some really great examples, are any of you familiar with NPPA? Okay, get familiar with NPPA. Great storytelling examples there. Follow MMJs who are doing really tremendous work. I work with a guy, his name is Dave Delosier. He's won like 30 Emmys over his career, and he's an awesome MMJ, and he worked out of KUSA and moved to Madison for family reasons, and I watch him and I learn something from him every day. So, you know, you get better. Instead of